Hey, IDS-410, good morning. It's still only 8:50 a.m. here in Phoenix on a Sunday, April 5th. I hope you're all doing well. I guess happy Easter for those who celebrate. And I'm back at the desk. Kind of wish I was out in the world again, but we'll see. Anyways, I wanted to get through this and get it posted as soon as I could today. Not because I'm busy, but just to get it done. Module 6, here we go. First of all, let me say, without hesitation or any fibbing whatsoever, the discussion boards you guys have posted, as well as your Module 4 work, has been stunningly good. Thank you so much. Now, I don't know, and I don't say that to other sessions and classes because they're not. But I've been so impressed over the overwhelming number of you who have used multiple sources that are peer reviewed, okay, that have really taken your plan to a very academic, and when I say academic, I almost mean professional, but just in the academic side of professional. And it's really, really exciting to see that, okay? Obviously, it makes my job easier, but, you know, if I can take any credit, I would just like to say that I think we got on the same page early in the course, so you knew what to expect, I'm hoping, and those that made the effort. It's like I said, I hate to gush for 2 minutes, but yeah, I appreciate it. Anyways, the objectives for Module 6 are important because we're looking again at this advocacy part. Remember, the final paper has 3 main sections, okay? And so again, I'm going to attach a final paper to this announcement to continue to give you the visual of what you're shooting for, right, at the end of the day. I think that's important, especially for those who like to think from the end or like to visualize more instead of like going down a road you can't really see. The objectives, though, for advocacy is to communicate an action plan to an audience. So you may have to change some of your persons, and I'll get into that in a minute. Defend the implementation of an action plan. Okay, so please look at the curriculum because the importance of advocacy is there, the different approaches to advocacy, and identifying potential opposing viewpoints to one's position. This is really important because, you know, we all have our biases and there's nothing inherently wrong with that, okay? We just have to be able to step out and know what our biases are. And then we also have to look at opposing viewpoints in these types of things and say, well, why are some people, like, let's just say you are advocating for government funding to do something, and the opposing viewpoint would be mine. I'd say you're not going to get government funding. Why not? Because studies show and the data shows that the government's just not giving out money like that. So there's opposing viewpoints. It could be different varieties of ones. Some could be saying that, well, you know, when you solve one problem, you can create another one or more, right? So let's consider those things. Take it down. Don't just, you know, skim the top of the water. Dig in, okay? So how do I advocate for my position, especially if people disagree? So important, especially in life, right? We've all been there. So you know the facts, use diplomatic language, and document your action. Good sections on that in the curriculum. Please don't shortchange yourself on that. And then there's resources for communicating a plan, which are readings and such, and good ones because it'll give you, you know, it'll give you knowledge, okay? Again, I mean, I hate to go back, but, you know, use my sons. They went to college and, you know, I told them, I said, now you're not going to college to tell everybody what you learned in the first 18, 19, 20 years of your life. You're going there to have that foundation, but you're building on it. Be open to learning. And I know most of my students are non-traditional, like I was in college at 52. And, you know, after 40 jobs, I was like, oh, this is great, you know? And it kind of was nice to go to college later in life, right? Because you have more experience to dig into and to relay for certain courses, right? But always be open to looking at the new material, okay, in the curriculum. There's required sources and readings about developing a plan for communication, and then there's using principles of persuasion. There's additional support should you like to look at that. And remember that timeliness is important for success for productive peer review. If you don't turn your main post in by Thursday at midnight, A, you don't get any points for it, and B, you're really not collaborating and helping others or yourself, okay? You should review the work of at least one of your peers in this discussion board, okay? And if you respond to more than one, SNHU tells me be certain to grade them on their best performance. I know what they mean. I mean, let's say you answer somebody and it's like this, and then you answer somebody else, it's like that. I'm not gonna grade you on that one, you know, I'm gonna grade you that you did that. But try to be contributive. I know I try to respond to everybody. It makes it kind of tough to do about 26 of these. So I don't usually dig in too deep as much as I think you will on yours, of course, okay? So remember, you might have to switch in tone when you're in part of your discussion that, okay, for your initial post, 75 points, remember, it's all you gotta do, so do it well. Briefly describe the social issue being used in the project. When it says briefly, at least a paragraph, okay? I mean, don't do a sentence. Briefly provide an overview of the communication approach. Explain how to determine whether the communication was successful. So the bolded words are there: social issue, communication approach, and determining success, okay? And then you've got, sorry, I've got to, there we go. And in your communicating an action plan, then you communicate an action plan to a universal audience. So this is where you're gonna have to change your tone, all right? What you would do is, you know, now your first part, you're doing academic writing, the social issue, the communication approach, determining success. But then you're to go into implementation, impact society, and opposing viewpoints. And for that, you're going to act like you're presenting that to some people, someone or some people, okay? So make sure you change that and cover those things. Most students I find in this course have trouble with the opposing viewpoints. So if you have any trouble with that, let me know, but really kind of think, take yourself out, look at what you're doing, and say, what would I not like about it? Ask somebody else, what doesn't sound right? What's an opposing viewpoint? I can help you. I'm a contrarian. So hopefully you feel yourself moving forward in the course, because this is Module 6 going to April 12th, and then April 19th, your final project is due. How exciting is that, right? So I'm gonna attach a final paper here again. I'll try to find a different one, but it's going to be one that received 400 out of 400 points. And I'm just going through my notes here. I don't see anything else. I usually make new notes for every module, for every session. But again, you guys are really just crushing it. I mean, some of you are just literally putting out grad school work. You know, it's almost intimidating. I've been to grad school, so I know. So good luck. Have a good one. What's it, 3:30 Eastern time, the NCAA women's final. That should be fun, watching Dawn Staley's South Carolina Gamecocks versus the UCLA Bruins, or the Bruinesses. I don't know if they're. But anyways, enjoy that if you are doing so. And you guys have a great week, and peace.